Hey everybody, in this video we're going to talk about 5 things that will help you go from being a range warrior to an on-course master. Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, Scott Hogan coming at you. Today we're going to talk about the 5 things that are going to help you become an on-course master instead of a range warrior. These are things I work a bunch with people on because, as we all know, it's not just a lesson that's going to help you. You need coaching as to how to take what your knowledge is and actually take it and perform with it. So these things are great. They've really helped me become I think a coach that can get results for people. We work with ton with juniors, helping them get to college, but also adults. We've seen adults in as little as like 8 weeks lose as many as 70 shots off their 18-hole score. No joke, over 70 shots in less than 8 weeks just by starting to learn some of these things. If this is something you're interested for your game, we do have an online course we're starting up. Make sure you check that out. I'll link it below. Going from a range warrior to an on-course master starts March 1st. Limited number of spots because we want to make sure you have the attention you need for this. So make sure you sign up as quickly as you can so you get one of those spots. So without further ado, let's get into it. There's a reason why you are a range master, but not an on-course master. What is it? Well, the overlying theme of what's going on is your practice is too easy. All right? If you think about other sports, think about if you've played anything or if you've played any instruments or anything, you go to give a speech, anything like that. You have to practice in a way and train in a way that is harder than what you do on the golf course. We hear about athletes that do like, they'll swim like, even if they're doing like a 200-meter swim, right? They swim for like a mile. They're doing that. Then they're doing workouts. They do these trainings that make the actual race the easiest thing that they do, okay? And in golf, we don't do that. Golf is typically, when you go to play, it is typically the hardest thing you're gonna do. So naturally, when you go up to something that's harder, you're not as good. You're not gonna do as good. So we need to come up with 5 ways that you can make your practice harder than what you do on the golf course and start training a little bit more effectively. So number 1, we have to look at the number of shots that you hit and how fast you are hitting them. So when you're going to hit balls, all right, the timing of the shots that you hit, you have to look at, are you a raker and hitter, or are you somebody that practices like you play? Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, you don't have to look any farther. They've talked about it many a times. When they are practicing and hitting balls, they will hit approximately 30 to 40 shots in a 2-hour practice session. And people will be like, Scott, there's no way I'm gonna do that. Well, I agree. I don't think most people are gonna do that. But what happens is you start getting into a rhythm. You start to say, hey, this is what I can do, and I'm gonna hit these shots, and I'm just going one after another after another. And your body starts getting into that rhythm. Becomes a lot easier to perform that rhythm. The problem is you are not practicing like what's going on the golf course. If you're going to play, we have to hit a shot, we have to wait for other people to hit, we got to go up to our ball, then we got to wait for the green to clear in front of us, then we got to hit. It's not at the same pace, so you're not used to it. It's the same as when people are shooting in basketball. You see people that do this, they just get passes and shoot, pass, shoot. In rhythm shooting is always a lot easier than when you're out of rhythm. So the first thing you have to do is look at the pace that you are hitting those golf shots. You have to slow it down to something that's more comparable to what you're going to see on the golf course. Number 2 is when you're going onto the range, you don't have a target. I can't tell you how many people that I see, they just hit balls into an open field and they don't have any idea if they hit their target, and they don't have a defined target. They don't even know what a good target would be. So you have to hit balls into an area where you know if the shot was good or bad and if you achieved your success. Because if you don't have a target on the range, when you go to the golf course, you will have a target immediately. That first hole, I'm trying to hit the fairway. That's already making it harder than trying to hit a 200-yard wide field. right? And it's not good enough just to say, all right, hey, I'm going to hit it that way. I'm kind of aiming at that flag and just say, oh, yeah, that took off kind of in that direction. I like that. No, you have to put a defined area around it. When I do this with people, they start to realize, whoa, I didn't hit that area. And we start putting a number to it. How many did you hit? They don't hit it very much at all. And so they start practicing and working on hitting that area. All of a sudden, they realize it gets very difficult, but they get to practice, they get to improve, and they're working on these skills, and that's going to make them better prepared for the golf course. So you got to have a target when you're out there practicing. Number 3 is people hit the same club. So this goes a lot along with our first one, which is just rapid firing golf balls, but people hit the same club over and over again. Now, this is something you can do at certain areas. Like, let's say you're trying to work on swing technique. You can do that, but just know that's not really going to help you in the area of getting everything out to the golf course. There is a time and place to do that where you're going to work with one club, you're going to work on your swing. I work with juniors year-round. We do training for tournaments, and we have our high school season and all that. My players will work on that. They get about 6 weeks to work on that where they are allowed to practice like that, and that's in November, December, and then we start getting to January, or when they seem like they're ready, but the latest is like January, we're going to start saying, hey, it's on to trying to learn how to do stuff on the course. So you need to be practicing in a way that switches clubs up. So we need to have a sequence of, hey, you're going to hit a couple of these, then you got to hit a couple of these, and you got to hit a couple of these. You're going to hit them to targets for those appropriate clubs. You're going to do all of that, and that really starts to get them in the mindset that, hey, I can't hit a bunch of shots with one club because I never do that on the golf course. And generally, if you're hitting the same club back to back, you might be out of bounds and you got to hit it again. So usually not a good thing when that happens in most cases. Number 4, you're not practicing what could happen. You're practicing what you hope will happen. There's these ideas that, hey, when you're hitting shots, oh yeah, I gotta have muscle memory. I don't want to practice and think about, hey, this shot did this. I don't want to worry about that bad one because I gotta memorize, hey, how did I do this? Well, the first thing is there is no such thing as muscle memory. That is not true. Your brain controls your muscles. So what you have to practice is getting your mind comfortable with what could happen. Okay, you have to really get comfortable with what could happen. Like, hey, if I miss this green, okay, I've got a little chip. So I've got to work on the shots that could happen. Or, hey, I've got to work on hitting some low punch shots because that could happen. The more comfortable you get with these shots, the less stress you're going to have on your full shots. It's going to be a lot easier to just make swings and not be afraid of what could happen. Doesn't mean play dumb golf or anything like that. You have to get out there and play good strategy. But if you're not worried about what could happen, you're going to be freed up, you're going to make better swings, and you're just going to be a little bit more comfortable. So start thinking about where these shots could go and what you would need to recover. So that way you're comfortable. You realize it's not that big of a deal if you mess it up. You have less stress, which in the long run, you know what? That makes you perform better. All right, and number 5, and probably the most important one, is people don't know if they got any better. They just don't. When I see people, practicing, or people go practice and they come back in and they'll say, hey, how did it go? They're like, oh, it went pretty good. I felt like I hit it really good. And I was like, okay, how do you know if it was better? Oh, it felt good. It's like, well, okay, it felt good. But do you know if the ball was actually going at your target? Do you know if it was getting into that defined area that you're looking for? And most people don't. The people that get better, they do. They understand, hey, that got better. I got more shots into that target. That's what I like. and having that definite knowledge of, hey, I got better. That's why you're practicing, is to get better and know that you're better. So if you don't know that, you're really going to be in trouble when it goes to the golf course. You're just going to get frustrated. And the story I always tell people is I practiced for 14 months and I didn't get any better. But, it's because I didn't follow any of these things. I just randomly went out and hit balls, and I didn't even get any better. I stayed exactly the same. So you got to know if you got better. That's it. You got to know how to track your practices, and you got to think about ways that you can define, yes, I got better using some of our skills here. So that's it. That's the 5 ways that are going to help you get better. If you try those 5 things out, try to think about those things for your practice, I think you will see a lot of improvement. And if you're interested in more of this, we do have our online boot camp that's going to start March 1st. You can check it out. I'll link it down below, but we're going to be going through an entire coaching 6 weeks. You're going to work a little bit on your technique, make sure your technique's up to snuff, but then developing processes, developing ways to practice so you can see the benefits when you go to your game, all right, when you get out there to play. So if you're interested in that, make sure you click that link below and check it out, and we look forward to hopefully seeing you a part of it. With that, thanks everybody for watching. If you have any questions, please leave comments down below, and as always, click that subscribe button if you're not a subscriber already. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next video. Peace.